friends. We're a little bit late because I woke up late. The snow. Can we talk about the snow? No. It's been like this for the as long as I can think, but still, it always surprises us. And that's the end of that. So, welcome to the podcast, The Billionaire of the Diamonds. And again, I'm so intentional about um, working on a better version of myself every single day. And again, this week, I had a few things happen. Um, Proving once again that the problem is never out there. The problem is always 6 inches in front of the mirror. And I truly believe the day we start taking responsibility, I am responsible, I can make a difference, I can change things, everything changes. So, fun fact, yesterday we had a wonderful live sale, and we had brought up the live sales of Ella from $100 to over $1,000. And then for some reason, last week it went back to 100. And I'm always in the mindset, even today at 60 some years old, what did I do? And not what Tupperware didn't do, what the business hasn't done. And last night, just by the way, she beat another record of over 1,200 without the prolongation. I don't even know if that's an English word. Uh, just sounds so good. And again, my friends, this is what the podcast is about, because it's inner transformation. It's inner transformation. And it's so exciting to take full responsibility because, Melanie, Marie-Pierre, that's the power I have this morning. When something like yesterday happens, this morning I arrive 100-fold more excited, if that's possible, 100-fold more excited because it's beautiful to say, what can I do and make it happen? So before we dive any further into today's podcast, I want to leave you in the hands of Marie-Pierre for the conference on what is it again? January 24th. What is it again? Okay. Because today, my friends, we're going to talk about flexibility, peace, clarity, security, rich relationship, continual learning. Oh my God, it's all about what I discovered this week again. All right. So before we go anywhere, over to you, Marie-Pierre Tétrault.
Okay, so it's time for us to share the podcast this morning. So you have the text in the comment that you can copy paste it. Oh, hello, Benji. So you can copy paste it when you share, and people understand why they should listen to the podcast this morning. But you will see that when you click it to share, you will also have the opportunity to share by messenger or text message. So this is for the person that you really want them to listen to the podcast, that really need it. Send it directly by
Yeah,
messenger.
Like all those that say it's not my fault. Share the podcast. Okay, bye-bye.
It might be a long list. Okay, so let's continue to share everywhere. And then we have our contest, Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So first, when you go on our Facebook group called Les Millionnaires des Diamants Inspirational Group, every time that you post, every time that you comment, that you react on a post on the group, you gain points during the month to be in the top 10 contributor of the group. And at the end of the month, the official top 10 will get a voucher of $25 to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants. And number one, a voucher of $50 to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants. Hello, Bella. Okay, this morning she decided to every dog. Okay, so the top 10 month to date. So you still have until the end of the month to be in the top 10 official. But month to date, we have it. Oh, Gucci. Okay, so month today. Focus. There we go. Okay, so focus. So number 10, month to date, we have Monique Strathern. Number 9, we have Nathalie Brochu.
Yeah.
Number 8, Sherry Novak. Yeah. Number 7, Des Images des Mots. Number 6 is Mélanie Cocolas. Number 5, Rachel Dugas. Number 4, Lise Boucher. Number 3, Kendra Siffingasol. Number 2, Louise Gauthier. And number 1, Martin Noël. So congratulations to our top 10 month to date. So again, you have until the end of the month to be in the official top 10 to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires de Demain. And then we have a draw at the end of the month. So to be in the draw, there's two ways. First, with the boutique Les Millionnaires de Demain. So you go on the website, you place your order, or you receive your order, you take a picture, and you go post on social media, and you tag Marie Moreno and Les Millionnaires de Demain to be in the draw. And then same thing with the books Les Millionnaires de Demain. So you just receive one of the book, you take a picture, you're doing one of the book, you take a picture, you're doing one of the quiz book, you take a picture, you're doing one of the workbook, you take a picture, you're using an agenda, you take a picture. That means that you can take a picture every day, and then you post on social media and you tag Marie Moreno and Les Millionnaires de Demain. And then if you don't remember what is the date for the next conference, it's at the bottom of the screen. You see it go woo woo like that. So January 24th, we have our next conference. It's gonna be a virtual conference. That means that it's for everyone all around the world. So no matter where you are, you can come at the virtual conference on January 24th. And if the time is not right for you, you can watch it in hashtag replay, we call it. So in replay, so at the time that is best for you. And for those that are close to the studio in Anjou, so you can come to be in person with us during the conference. So just send me a message when you get your ticket for the conference, and I can add you to the group. But it's limited space for the conference in person, so make sure that you write to me fast to be in the list to be with us in person. Voila.
Thank you so much, Marie-Pierre. And let's say warm welcome. I was checking the list. Martin is there. Louise is there. Jacqueline is there. You know what? I actually love this because I see everybody. Sherry, I don't know if she was there yesterday. Did we send her the police after her? I'm not sure. Lise. Okay. Beth, did you see Melanie? Beth is there. Oh, maybe she was there always, but I never saw her because she wasn't on the Zoom. I don't see Monique Stratton. Put her on the milk carton. James. No, Monique must not be there. James is there by himself. There's no community work here.
No, they usually meet in a group, and I don't think Monique necessarily comments, but they meet together.
Okay, no. You're gonna close up. These animals this morning. It's the snow. It's me. I am responsible. I'm overexcited. Okay. Thank you guys again for being here. So let's dive in right away. The day my compass became stronger than my comfort zone. That's part one of this two-part episode of podcast. So yesterday we read the segment and Marie-Pierre says there's way too much information. So I said, okay, let's split it up. So the Millionaire of the Diamonds, if you're joining us right now, it's all about growing leaders, and leaders as people say, well, I don't have a leadership position. Of course you do. You know, you're leading your household, you're leading maybe your church, your community. We're all leading something. So we got to grow as leaders, build wealth, especially of the soul, so we can help people level up and become a better version of themselves. And today's episode is so important because it's about who you become when you choose to live a life based on principles instead of pressures. Okay. So before the awakening, okay, so who was Maria before? Because I don't want anybody thinking that I was born into life this way. No. I'm 61 years old, going to be 62 in 2026. And every day I'm working on me. Who can I become to become a better version? So I want to begin by talking. Actually not talking, but taking you somewhere familiar, a place many of us have lived. There was a time in my life when my schedule dedicated everything that I was doing, like everything. If people needed me, I was there because it made me feel worthy. If I said yes to everyone, it made me feel safe, like it made me feel, oh, they need me, So that was so like such false beliefs, but we all go through that. So I don't believe I'm unique in that situation. I believe it's part of the growth process curve, right? But the truth was this: I wasn't safe at all. I was totally exhausted. I remember once we set up Carrefour Laval. It's one of the biggest shopping malls in the greater Montreal area. And I was so exhausted that coming back at 8 a.m. in the morning, we had a meeting at 9 a.m. So that means we didn't sleep all night, right? I fell asleep at the light of P9 et des Grands Prairies, like literally, like totally exhausted. I was so stretched thin. I was producing results, of course, yet, but losing myself along the way. And if I would have kept up that pace, I would not be the leader I am today because I probably would have felt totally sick, right? That's burning the candle from both ends. And inside was this little voice always whispering, Maria, is this what success is supposed to look like? And I didn't believe that, because the images of the successful people I had in my life, they were beautiful people, smiley people, balanced people, people that walked slowly amongst the crowd. They were people that listened, and that's not all. That was not what I was. Okay, so yes, the business was growing, but at what price? The awakening didn't happen during a crisis. It happened on a very ordinary Sunday morning in my kitchen, and I'm always the one waking up the earliest in my home. My phone is buzzing, and right away I let go of what I'm doing and I go to my phone, as I always did, and I'm going answering the texts. Back then it was just text, there was no messenger, and it was a really funny sound. Ding, 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 ding. Anyways, looked like an alarm ringing. uh, I was building a life around schedules, not around principles, around expectation, not around purpose, around comfort, not around character. Made me feel comfortable to answer everybody as they sent me the messages. Comfort zones are very fragile. They collapse the moment life tests us. And I've had, like many of us, many tests, like losing my mother at a very young age, who was only 51 years old, the crisis with my husband when my children were only 2, 4, and 6. So this realization changed everything for me. And fortunately, before I lost my mother, before my husband fell sick, before the crisis with my daughter, Nadia, or you have to go listen to her reel that, or maybe Marie Pierre, you can share it in the link. Like, she really epitomizes what the majority of people live. And if you're in the right surrounding, it will change and transform who you become later on. So I stopped being chained to plans. I started shifting, and I started saying to myself, what really matters? I started hiring more people. Like I was reading the podcast yesterday, but there was also that element where I don't have to do my cleaning. I'm going to hire somebody. I don't have to do the recognition. I'm going to hire somebody. And all of a sudden, what was becoming a burden started becoming a beautiful adventure again. Why I started at 18 years old. So by this time, I'm getting close to giving birth. No, I gave birth to him. I was close to giving birth to Nadia, because my mother was still alive. And this principle centered person now was feeling secure. I was feeling secure, instead of uncertain. I responded instead of reacting. I built stronger relationships because they stopped talking. I stopped taking things personally. Uh, I started seeing growth everywhere. I started sharing what people could do to be successful in a more balanced way. So my life started becoming an example. And now I was starting to become that person that I mirrored, the kind of people I mirrored that were successful, but were not looking like me. I always had my hair in the wind, like this all the time. Oh my God. I watched the movie Back to the Future, the scientist, the way he looks like this. I said, when I was watching it with Mohammed, I knocked him. I said, that was me before, with the hair all over the place, not even taking time to take care of myself. But to better understand all of this, we're going to go straight to Melanie Miller, because that academic side that Melanie's going to bring you will allow you to take notes. So, my friend Melanie, over to you.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you for sharing your thoughts on it, because that's exactly what Stephen Covey is trying to teach us in this section. When we begin to live from principles, not moods, not pressures, not other people's expectations, something extraordinary happens inside us. It's not magic, it's not personality, it's alignment. And I also, as I was writing this, was reflecting on my life. And, my next birthday is 67. So advancing even more than Maria. But I can honestly say to you that this last year has been a transformation for me. I feel like I've gone from being a a leader, yes, but somebody that didn't really get it, to somebody now, I feel like I'm living leadership, living a principle-centered life. And, I don't want you to wait till you're 66 before that happens to you. Today, I want to walk through some of the inner characteristics Covey describes and show how they play out in real life, because these qualities are not reserved for special people. They're available to all of us to grow. One of the strongest qualities of principle-centered people is the inner steadiness. They are not constantly shaken by circumstances or by the opinions of others. Psychologists call this an internal locus of control, the belief that stability comes from within. When you anchor your life in principles, you experience less anxiety, more resilience, less overreaction, and more calm in crisis. Because your identity is not riding on whether things go well or whether someone approves of you. Example, think of a leader who receives difficult feedback. A reactive person would either become defensive or crushed. A principled person says, "Thank you, let me reflect on that." Doesn't mean they like what they hear, but they are principled and they know they need to reflect on it. Same situation, completely different internal world. This is the peace Covey talks about, the peace of knowing who you are. Covey says that when your center is based on principles, you naturally become more flexible. Rigid people are usually insecure. They cling to rules, routines, and control. Flexible people are grounded because they know they can figure things out. Research shows that people who feel secure internally are more creative, more open to new ideas, less threatened by change, and more able to laugh at themselves. For example, we've all met someone who panics when plans change, and we've met someone else who says, "No problem, let's find another way." That second person is demonstrating a principle-centered mindset, flexibility rooted in confidence, not chaos. Covey says principle-centered people have deeper relationships, and the reason is simple. When your sense of worth comes from within, you stop needing to win in relationships. You communicate honestly, not manipulatively. You forgive faster. You listen instead of reacting. You clarify expectations instead of assuming. Think of a family disagreement. More tension comes from ego. I need to be right. I need to be heard first. I need this to go my way. I always remember my dad saying to me, "Do you want to be the right master of the world?" And at the time, I'm like, what does he mean? But I so get what he means. Sometimes people fight so hard to be right that they're not listening. Principle-centered people walk into the same conversation asking, how can we understand each other? How can we solve this? And the entire emotional climate changes. One of Covey's most beautiful insights is that principle-centered people are continual learners. They are not threatened by what they don't know. When your ego is not fragile, you can be curious. These people read more, ask more questions, seek mentoring, observe quietly, experiment, and reflect. In any workplace, notice who asks genuine questions. It is rarely the insecure person because they fear looking weak. It is the principle-centered person because learning strengthens them. Humility accelerates learning. Learning increases adaptability, and adaptability creates long-term success. A contribution mindset where you turn outward instead of inward. This is one of the most defining traits Covey highlights. Principle-centered people shift from what can I get to what can I give? And if only society would make that shift too, wouldn't we be a much better place? Contribution does not drain them, it energizes them. Neuroscience even shows that helping others activates the brain's reward and motivation systems. This is why these people become builders, mentors, encouragers, servant leaders. In Tupperware, we see this daily. Some sellers focus only on their sales. Others focus on helping people save money, cook better, or become more confident. Guess which ones grow the most? Contribution expands you. When you look at all these qualities, security, flexibility, rich relationships, continual learning, contribution, you realize something important. This is not a personality type. This is a choice of center. And every one of us can grow into these characteristics when we choose principles over pressure. Principle-centered living is not mystical, it is practical, it is psychological, it is behavioral, it is human. And tomorrow we will continue exploring the remaining characteristics because Covey shows that more principle-centered you become, the more peaceful, powerful, and purposeful your life becomes. So now I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Marie-Pierre to continue this discussion. Over to you, Marie-Pierre.
Thank you, Melanie. So yes, we're gonna continue with the quiz this morning because yes, one truth is important to understand is that most of us don't always know if we are really living from our compass. We understand the theory, but are we really living from our compass? Or is it from our comfort zone until life puts pressure on us? So with the quiz, it will help you with real life situation to see what is your inner world that will really reveal. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's only about awareness. It's only about clarity. It's about your own transformation. So let's start. So for each question this morning, you can answer A, B, C, or D. So let's start with question number 1. So you plan your day perfectly, and then at 9 a.m., everything changed. What do? So A, you adjust calmly and reprioritize. B, you sigh, feel annoyed, but shift your plan. C, you get tense, rush, and try to catch up. Or D, you feel overwhelmed or upset for hours. Question number 2. You have a colleague or team member that complete a task in a way that you would never do it. What is your reaction? A, you appreciate their initiative and move on. B, you suggest improvement but let them own it. C, you correct them and take back control. Or D, you redo the entire task yourself. Question number 3. Someone gives you an unexpected feedback. How do you respond internally? A, great, this will help me grow. B, okay, I'll think about it. C, they misunderstood me. Or D, that was unnecessary. What do they think do they think they are? Question number 4. So you notice a tension in one of your relationships. So what is your instinct? A, initiate a calm, honest conversation. B, you wait a bit, then address it. C, you avoid the conversation and hope that it passes. Or D, you pull away emotionally. And question number 5. Someone ignores your message. What is your inner story? A, people are busy. It's not about me. B, I'll wait, they will get back to me. C, did I do something wrong? Or D, they don't respect me. So did you get mostly A's, mostly B's, mostly C's, or mostly D's? So if you have mostly A, you are living deeply from your compass. So you have begun to master that emotional regulation, alignment, and principle-centered decision making. It's not about perfection, but now it's intentional. So stress does not break you, changes does not scare you, and people's mood don't control you. So maybe your blind spot now is that you may assume that others can self-regulate as well as you do. So maybe they can't. So the next level is to make sure that we stay compassionate with other people. So we want to expand our influence by teaching others how to anchor themselves. Now, if you have mostly B, your compass is emerging but not fully installed. So you understand principle and want to live aligned, but all of it still show up under pressure. So you're evolving, learning, and strengthening your inner world step by step. So the next step would be to choose one principle to practice daily. So is it curiosity, patience, humility, flexibility, consistency? It's all about what will move you into fully the quote unquote leadership. Now, if you have it mostly C, you are living from emotion, noise, and expectation. So you are often reactive, overstimulated, and are emotionally influenced by your environment. It's not a weakness, but it's a sign that your compass is under construction. So you may confuse emotional impulse with intuition. You may personalize a situation that have nothing to do with you, and your peace gets stolen too easily. So the next step would be to practice one reset tool. So pause before responding, take one breath before speaking, or ask what matters most now. So you're closer to align than what you think. It's simply, and you need to have that training every day. And if you have a mostly D, now you are living from the comfort zone and not the compass. So your inner world is reactive, easily shaken, and externally controlled. So this does not mean that you lack strength. It means that your inner foundation is waiting to be built. So this is not a judgment, it's a starting point, and it's an invitation to change. So you may assume that peace will come later, when things calm down, when people behave better, or when life is easier. But peace comes from alignment, not circumstances around you. So the next step would be to choose one internal shift today. Is it that you won't react immediately? That you will let the one thing go that you don't have the control? That you accept maybe one imperfection? That you ask for help say no once and gracefully, or choose curiosity over defensiveness in a conversation. So it's all about one small change that you can do every day, and not a revolution that you want to do everything today, but it's one small change that you can do daily that will help you build that inner compass. So on that, I wish you a beautiful day, and we will see you tomorrow morning for the next part.